So what we're going to do today is we are going to cut the lining for the Day of the Dead product. Now the lining that's going to be on the inside is going to be smaller than your actual felt skull, because if we have them right at the very edge, you're going to get this line in between the two pieces of felt when you put the front and the back together. So what we're going to do is we are going to use a ruler, and we're going to use a pen, and we need a pair of paper scissors. Okay, now our piece of lining is going to be 1/2 centimetre smaller all the way around the edge. So using a ruler, go round and mark 1/2 centimetre all the way round from the edge. Now you'll notice that when I'm doing this, I'm adjusting my ruler so that this part of the ruler here is at right angles to the edge. If I do that, my margin isn't going to be 1/2 centimetre, it's going to be smaller than that. Okay, so go round all the way round, moving your ruler and your paper to suit you, and your marks only need to be about 1 centimetre away until you have done the whole of the edge. You can then join them up. Get my scissors, cut that out. Then what we do is we get our lining material, which is this black interfacing, and we're just going to pin that on like you did when you pinned on your paper template onto your felt. Not too many pins because it buckles, but enough to stop it flapping so that you get an accurate shape. And then using fabric scissors, so nice and sharp, I'm just going to cut that out around the edge. So we have our inside. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do exactly the same again. I have a piece of wadding. This is going to give our product a nice soft feel to it. It'll also help to protect the electronics inside. And then with fabric scissors, I'm going to cut that out. So I have my lining, my wadding, and the template. We don't need the template anymore, but don't throw it away just in case you lose one of these pieces. You're going to get a little bit stuck. Now we've cut out the lining, we need to locate where the eyes are going to go, because that's where our LEDs are going to go. Now we could make a pattern for this, but because everybody's designs are different, their eyes are going to be in very different places, but also everybody has different shape skulls. So that the way we do this is we put our piece of lining onto our back, making sure it's the right way around. Okay, and just give it a rub. Because the felt is quite fibrous, it will stick to it. and then you turn it over and put it on this wood. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the bradawl where the eye is going to go, and then I'm going to give it 2 taps. Oops, sorry. Okay, and then I'm going to take that out. Now before I do anything else, so I don't lose those holes, because felt does tend to find its own way home again, I'm just going to put the bradawl in and just make those holes a little bit bigger. Okay, so you can see that's where my LEDs are going to go. Later on we will stretch these holes a little bit more so that the LEDs will fit through them. But you can see now, I'll know exactly where the LEDs are going to go. Now you might not be able to see on here that I have 2 little holes. Okay, I have one here, which I'm going to mark with the tailor's chalk, and then I'm going to mark one here. That is where our LEDs are going to go. Using this page in the booklet under lesson 7, you'll see that there is a diagram of how you are to draw your circuit onto your piece of lining. Now remember, this isn't a circuit diagram, this is the plan for your sewing. So I'm going to take this off, and I need to transfer this pattern here onto here. Now you'll see that the shape of this skull is different to mine, so there's a few things we need to make sure of. The first thing we need to make sure is we need to make sure that this line is just above where our LEDs are going to go, not too far away. We don't want to have to stitch towards our LEDs, we want to start right next to them. So the first line I'm going to draw is going to be across here like this. The second line I'm going to draw down the side, but I don't want it to go too close to this LED, and I don't want it to go too close to the edge, because our stitching could then become quite loose and floppy. So I'm going to draw a line that's in between those 2 here like that. And then I'm going to draw it down to the bottom like this. I'm going to draw the cell holder, where the cell holder is going to go. You can see that here. So I've drawn the black line here. The next thing we need to do is we need to draw the red line. Now the red line is going to be this line here, but in the space here, we are going to put our switch. We need to make sure we keep this space, and there needs to be a nice gap between it so they don't accidentally touch and create the circuit, because that way your LEDs will light up when you don't want them to, and you'll waste the power in your cell. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw a line underneath these 2 LEDs, and then a line down to the middle. So if you imagine where the nose would be, I'm going to create 2 circles here where my switch is going to go, and then I'm going to bring this line down here like this. So that is that. And you can see it sort of looks like a face. You've got 2 eyes, a nose and a mouth. Then what we need to do is we need to start sewing our components onto our circuit.